So there's this indie game I've been playing lately. You might have heard of it. It's a little something called The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. I know. I must be like the only person in the world who bought a copy, right? But hear me out. Now it's an alright game and all, but there's just something about it that made me really wanna, play it and actually have fun with it, right? Because everybody can have fun with a game, but sometimes you want to have more fun with a game. You get what I mean? Like, I want to get more out of it. And I was inspired by this glitch to get an unbreakable Master Sword, and I thought, how cool would it be to use that sword for the entirety of the game, and then share it online with other people, so I could remind people that you're allowed to have fun, regardless of what anyone else tells you. That's right, you there, watching this video, are allowed to have fun when you play a video game. Even if the devs intentionally patch out the fun. But to just play the game with this sword wouldn't be very interesting now, would it? There should be some more stakes on the line, and not the $2 kind. So, I made a little challenge for myself. And here it is on the screen right now. What, you thought I was going to read it for you? What do I look like, your mother? Now, this challenge is pretty straightforward, but the last thing on the list is a little weird. This controller. Yes, the one I'm using right now. It's very painful to use, but it can do L3 and R3 just like a regular controller despite there being 2 D-pads. So all is well. And with my controller in tow, I shall tell you exactly what happened on my journey and how you too can have fun by playing this game pretending it was a game made by From Software. So when you start it off, everything's pretty straightforward. You just run through the game like usual. You know, you can even find some cool enemies like the Soldier of Godric. But I digress. The thing that we want is the sword. That's the first real true step to this run. So you gotta make your way to this shrine over here, whatever it's called. And then you gotta go ahead and you gotta perform the glitch on the inside. There are plenty of videos showing you how to do that. I don't think I gotta tell you what to do. And then after you get the sword, that's where things get really interesting. And then you don't have to worry about weapons ever again. But you do have to worry about getting enough materials, right? Because you don't know what you're gonna need, so you should be getting as many as possible. But after you get back on the ground, what you gotta do is run to Hyrule Castle, and then you go to this little corner over here, and you make your way up, and then you find the secret passage. And then you start making your way down the secret passage, and you see this black bokoblin. Now, I didn't kill him right here, but you should, so you can get his guts. Because you really need those guts. Because ooey gooey guts will be very important for this run, so you better do it. But anyway, you gotta go basically running through and then go through Minecraft Simulator in order to find each piece of the armor. And now, you can roleplay as Havel from Dark Souls, wearing Havel's armor, because this armor has some pretty high defense when it's upgraded to the max. So after you've made it Night Simulator with your sword and your armor, you might as well upgrade the armor, right? Get it to max defense. But if only things were so easy, because first you gotta get a horse, right? You know, you need a horse for what's to come. And that's a little bit easier said than done. Don't forget to do that, very important. And you gotta make your way all the way in the snowy tundra. And when you get over there, you gotta meet the local tabloid people. And then you gotta go on this journey quest to these various stables in order to unlock the Great Fairies. And these quests are annoying, and they take up a lot of time, and I don't understand why anybody would design garbage like this. It doesn't take too long to do any of this, but it's still annoying. But hey, at least you get a little money out of it. But in order to upgrade your armor at each Great Fairy, you know, the blacksmiths of this game, you need money, and you need lots of materials. Primarily guts. Like those black bokoblin guts I mentioned earlier. But there's some other guts that you need that are a little bit hard to find. If you go to this stable, right over here, you can find Impa, and you go on a beautiful date with her. You fix her hot air balloon and you look up and you look at the crop circles on the ground because aliens are real. And then after that, you can steal her hot air balloon. But in order to steal it, you have to get back to the ground. So to do that, you put out the fire.
I've fallen, and I can't get up!
And after she's fallen back down, along with you, safe as sound, take the hot air balloon and make your way back to the castle, right? And you want to get all the way up to the tippy top. And then from here, you just light the balloon. And would you look at that? You're by the castle. So you just gotta run a little bit forward over here to the shrine. And then right next to the shrine are a bunch of moblins. Black moblins to be precise, so you can get their guts. And then you want to get some Hinox guts. And to do that, we gotta go all the way over here to the east side, a little bit further out from by Terry Town. Got some regular enemies to kill over there, but then after you kill the Hinox, you get his guts. This black Hinox here, right? And then next you need Lionel guts and other Lionel parts, right? But primarily those Lionel guts are really hard to find. So you go to this little corner in the map here, which is above, like, the north of Gerudo Desert. You jump down this hidey hole, and you'll land in a pool of water, very convenient. And then right by the pool of water, you craft a vehicle and you gotta fly over. Gotta make sure you got enough battery juice to make it across. And then once you're there, you gotta fight the Lionel. There's like a little thing you can, you know, use as a check mark, just in case, if you ever want to come back and fight this Lionel again if possible. But hey, this is an armored Lionel, and you're gonna need lots of bombs to break his armor. And also he's a little silly and falls off sometimes. But once you've gotten all of your guts, you should use the multiplication glitch because it's faster and easier. And if I've already used a glitch with the sword, I might as well not waste my time. Also duplicate diamonds while you're at it, for the money. So I got the best sword, and I got the best armor. Why not top it all off with the best shield? You gotta go to this area on the back by the bottom of Hyrule Castle. You know, the area that's on the ground in the water. And there you'll find the hands, which becomes a Phantom Ganon. I guess you technically don't gotta fight them. You can just, you know, make them spawn, go to the water, and then you'll, you know, cower away. But I wanted that Dark Souls experience of fighting a boss, so I killed him. And then I did the little fire puzzle in order to get the Highland Shield. Best shield in the game. And while I'm at it, I did another duplication glitch so I can have nothing but Highland Shields. So I have the best sword, the best shield, the best armor, fully maxed out. What can stop me, right? Time to make my way to the final boss. Except you can't, because you'll die as soon as you hit the ground. And I don't have a paraglider, so I can't go and glide down there like easy. I need to find another way to do it. And it came to me. Why not use a ferry? And it just so happens, by one of the stables that you do for the Great Fairy Quest, you can get yourself some fairies to revive you when you hit the ground. They're in this well over here, and you go down there and you can get 3 fairies. So now, with fairies, I can make my way down. And this part was a grind because I had to take my time and kill all the enemies to make sure I didn't die and waste my fairies for any more jumps I had to make. But there was one enemy worth fighting, and that was the big Silvermane Lionel. Yeah, you fight that sucker, and it was a cool, epic fight. Look at it. And when you beat him, you get his guts, but it's okay, we don't need those anymore. But you also get his bow. Now that's the big reason why I fought him, because this bow, this is a crazy bow. And trust me, you're gonna want it for later. It's gonna make stuff so much easier. Get the bow, you're gonna need it. Just when I thought I was going to be able to make it through with all the fairies I got. Apparently, I didn't have enough fairies for the rest of the jumps. So I had to duplicate more. But if you're going to duplicate more, I recommend duping one at a time, because they like to fly off. So do it one at a time, and make sure you have enough to go through all the holes. But only enough to jump down and live, because I don't want to be cheap and use fairies to get through the bosses. Because this is a challenge run, right? Gotta have some decency. So then we're at that boss rush. And this is where you annihilate everybody with the bow, is what I would like to say. Because I thought, if I just duped a bunch of rubies, and I just shot them at like giant massive explosions, I would defeat all the enemies easily. Except you get caught in the explosion and you die. So I used it a little bit to make it a little bit easier. But you still gotta be careful. Hit them with, you know, regular stuff with the arrows, and also use sword, and you should be good. But then there's the first boss, the big fly guy. This is where we need that Lionel bow. And also, if you didn't do this earlier, you should get some rockets. I randomly found some in a chest, actually, by this stable over here. It was weird, because who just leaves rockets in a chest? But whatever. So you basically attach that to your shield, you go flying up, and you want to attach some eyeballs or some wings to the bow. But this part was really, really rough, and it took me several tries before I even got it. So don't be discouraged if you die here. Also, if you do fall, you could either like make yourself some food to give yourself temporary hearts so you survive the fall, or what's better is actually if you fall off the edge, so it'll just respawn you back on the map. But yeah, don't be afraid to like dupe rockets if you don't have enough, because this can be really tricky if you don't practice this. So the next boss is the big rock guy, right? And this big rock guy, you know, he seems really intimidating, but he's not. Especially if you have the extra hearts and you've got like that big beefy defense, you should be good to go. You do some time reversals on him, you go ahead and use Ascend, you go right through him, you whack his eye, and he is donezo. Then that third boss, which is like a really silly, goofy looking guy. I mean, look at him. You get yourself some blue choo-choo jelly, and you just wash everything away, and that bow pretty much takes care of it all. And yeah, pretty easy fight. Then the fourth boss is that big moth, and you need to use either yellow choo-choos and electrical wings or eyes on him. And once you beat that boss up, you know, you can move on to the next one. But man, you know, I don't recommend throwing a topaz. You might kill yourself. And also watch out for the ads. That's what made this fight really annoying. All the different, you know, re-deads, or I'm sorry, Gibdos. That's what this game called them. They're the Gibdos of this game, even though they're basically re-deads, you know, following you around. Do your best. Then the next one is the big robot fight. I basically used the fire choo-choos or fire fruit against them. It wasn't that rough. It was kind of slow though. It wasn't too exciting, but you know, get it done. Not that hard. But then for the next boss, you got a bunch of Phantom Ganons to fight. You make sure you have a bunch of rubies stacked up, you're away from them, and you just rain it down on them, and boom! You can take them out pretty easily. But if the bow breaks, don't worry about it too much. Just, you know, shoot the stuff at them, but be far away enough so you don't blow yourself up. So after you finish up the boss rush, this is where things get to be the most fun.
I have a bad case of diarrhea.
The real final fight, the real Dark Souls experience of going in and only using pretty much the sword and the shield and not trying to do anything cheap with the bow. 4 hearts, max defense, let's go. I did try to use some temporary hearts for the Ganon fights, but it didn't really work out that well. But it really is all about holding up that shield, trying to dodge the attacks to do fury rushes. But with this controller I used, it wasn't that easy. To be honest, I felt like I was going to have to practice a lot. But I somehow was making it through, and it was looking good until I got to the final phase. And that is where things fell apart. I was down to my last heart, and I knew immediately I was going to have to practice this fight. But then I got hit, and I still had a quarter heart left. So you know what that means? Infinite health! You can just heal and heal and heal. After every single attack, you've got materials, you run out of food, use materials. You'll just keep living and you can keep trying. And I gotta say, that took all the tension away from the fight. Kinda ruined it for me if I have to be honest. Because I remember the first time I did that fight, I thought it was so cool and whoa, he's killing my hearts. I mean really, a boss that just permanently takes your health away, do you not see how cool that is? Only to find out that it's actually better if you only have one heart left, because with like the Master Sword, right? I can shoot beams then. And it's like so much easier because you gotta do that with full health. And the only way you can do it without full health if you wear like the champion tunic or whatever it's called. But I didn't have that because, you know, I'm playing like a Dark Souls character. But after I finished that final phase, and you get to the big final fight against the huge dragon, and it gave me the real Master Sword, I was like, get that out of here. I already have a Master Sword, and it's unbreakable. So, I used my unbreakable Master Sword to finish up the game. And that was an adventure. So that was me showing you how to have more fun with Tears of the Kingdom, playing it like it's Dark Souls. And it's definitely not the wrong way to play the game. So try for yourself and tell me how much fun you had with it and how right that I am. That it is more fun than playing the game the way everybody else plays it. And you know what? I had so much fun playing the game this way that I might do it again, but with a different controller and different rules. So maybe you'll see that some other time. But what is the moral of this story? I think the moral of the story is Tears of the Kingdom was okay, and it's a game where you can make your own fun. And for that, it's a good game. So enjoy. And thank you for watching, and subscribe. Who knows what else I might do, or what I've already have done. See you around, and remember, I'm right.